Aloha bu200 students. This week we will be looking at finance and accounting. I'm Professor Richard Keto, and along with Professor Aaron Williamson, we will be covering the major basic topics in the areas of finance and accounting. So, finance and accounting are actually two distinct disciplines. First, you have the field of finance, and you have the discipline of accounting. Okay, let's take a look at accounting first. Accounting has three major areas. The first area is taxes. Then we have financial accounting. And we have managerial accounting. In the area of finance, we have two major areas: corporate finance and personal finance. Okay, looking at the area of all of these topics and how they relate to Chaminade courses, financial accounting is AC 201, okay, which you generally will take probably next year for you folks. Managerial accounting is covered in Accounting 202. So AC 201 is Principles of Accounting 1. AC 202 is Principles of Accounting 2. Taxes are covered in Accounting 306, Income Tax Concepts. That course is only taken by accounting majors. Corporate finance is covered in, finance, let me erase that. Finance 301, okay, which you generally will take in your junior years. Unfortunately, here at Chaminade, we don't have a personal finance class. Okay, let's first take a look at taxes. Obviously, taxes, that's a major area of accounting where accountants help people with preparing federal and state income tax forms and do tax planning. As I said, that's an advanced topic that will be covered in Accounting 306 for accounting majors. Okay, looking at financial accounting. Financial accounting is basically information for external users, people outside of the company. So people like investors, government agencies, potential stockholders, okay, lenders, people outside the company are interested in the financial condition of the company, and that is the purview of financial accounting. Managerial accounting is information for internal users, people within the company. Okay, so managers, employees, people that work for a specific company would use managerial accounting. Okay, so Another aspect of financial accounting, the main reports are called financial statements. Managerial accounting reports are called management reports. One thing about financial accounting, again, the preparation of financial statements, there are very rigid and strict rules about how financial statements are presented and prepared, and those rules are called Generally Accepted Accounting Principles, GAAP or GAAP, we call it. Managerial accounting, on the other hand, there are no rules. Okay, but management reports take the form of whatever information management needs to help run the company. Okay, there's no set rules about that. It's whatever format management wants that information in. Okay, that's managerial accounting. Okay, looking at finance, corporate finance is how do companies, and finance basically is getting funds and using funds. So corporate finance is how do corporations get funds? How do corporations use funds? So sources of funds, where money comes from, and uses of funds, where or the best way to use that money. Okay, under sources of funds, that includes things like operations, the day-to-day business of the company. Okay, that's one way a company gets money. That's probably the best way for a company to get money is through getting profits from doing what they're doing. Another source of funds might be stocks. Okay, selling stocks to potential stockholders. Another source of funds is borrowing. Okay, what's the most effective way for companies to borrow money? Okay, and that usually is in the form of notes. Okay, either from banks, borrowing money from banks, or selling corporate notes to potential investors. And finally, another major area for sources of funds are bonds. Okay, companies can sell bonds to investors to obtain funding that way. Uses of funds is what's the best way, now that we have the funds coming in, what's the best way to use those funds? So working capital is funding to run the day-to-day business of the company. Okay, so all the expenses that are required by the company. Also, capital projects. That includes new buildings, equipment, those kinds of long-term assets. Okay? And then investments. If the company has excess funds that aren't going to be used for operating their business, then they can invest it in other company stocks, other company bonds, okay, that kind of thing. In the area of personal finance, this is how individuals get funding and how individuals use fund. And this topic includes such areas as budgeting, credit and debt. So borrowing money from banks, credit card usage, buying a house or a car, okay, that type of thing. Also, tax planning. Okay, all individuals have to pay taxes, so personal finance also includes planning for paying as least amount of taxes possible, and also includes insurance, life insurance, fire, health insurance, all those kinds of things. Okay, there's some of the topics in personal finance. Okay, so there you see a overview of some of the topics that we will be covering this week in the areas of finance and accounting. Thank you very much. Aloha.